Welcome back. In this video, we will continue from where we stop and we'll be discussing powers of I. Don't forget, in the previous video, I derived and explained what is complex numbers for us. In essence, I said when you have square root of -1, then it is what? It is I, which also implies that your I square is equal to -1. Please try and put this at the back of your mind because we'll be using them in the subsequent video. Also, don't forget that I said when you have like a square root of a negative number, let's say square root of -36. In fact, you can say the same thing as square root of 36 multiplied by square root of -1, isn't it? Such that this is going to give me 6 multiplied by square root of -1, which is I, which is same thing as 6I. In essence, in general, when you have square root of a negative number x, then that's going to give you the square root of x and I. When you have square root of 100, square root of -100, then I'm going to have on 10I, because square root of what? Square root of 100 is 10 and square root of -1 is I. Also, I explained that your complex number is something of this nature when you have this number, a number in this form, where your s represent the real number. So, and your y is what? Is the imaginary, that is the complex number, the imaginary part. The combination of such number is what we call complex number. So today I'm going to explain what do we mean by what, or how you can approach powers of what? Powers of I. Recall that if I have I squared with what I've explained above, it's the same thing as -1. Yeah. Then if that is clear, okay, what of I raised power 3? You know, I raised power 3 can follow from the above. I can say I raised power 3 is same thing as I squared multiplied by I. By your loss of indices, you are going to have I raised power 3 back. And don't forget, your I squared is equal to -1 multiplied by I. And -1 times I will give me minus I. Okay, now what of I raised power 4? You know, for I raised power 4, I can say this same thing as I squared, everything squared. By your loss of indices, the power law. So A raised power n multiplied by A raised power n, same thing as A raised power mn. And don't forget this same thing as -1, that is your I squared, everything squared. So the square of a negative number will give you positive, and this is going to give me 1. So it means your I raised power 4 is equal to what? Is equal to 1. Okay, what of I raised power 100? You can, do it in factor of this. I can say the same thing as I raised power 4, everything raised power 25. Because 4 multiplied by 25 give me 100. And don't forget my I raised power 4 is equal to 1 multiplied by 1 raised power 25. And 1 raised power 25 is going to give me 1. That's how you can, approach this kind of, number, this kind of expression. So when your power is what? Is positive. This was positive power. So of a complex number. So what if I have negative power? That is not difficult to do as well, and it follows from what we had before. Recall again that when I have I squared is same thing as -1. We all know that, don't forget. So then if my I squared is equal to -1, so if I divide both sides by I, you understand now? So if I divide both sides by I, divide both sides by I, then I'm going to have I squared over I is equal to -1 over I. You understand? Now this guy, we cancel one of these, then I'm going to have I is equal to -1 over I. So if I is equal to what? -1 over I, you understand now? So then I can say my I is what? Minus, sorry, what do I have here? Okay, yeah. So then I can say my I is equal to I raised power minus 1. Recall that 1 divided by x same thing as x raised to power minus 1. Then if I open the bracket, so then I'm going to have that, or I mean, if I multiply through by a negative number, then I'm going to have minus I is equal to what? I raised power minus 1. Please don't forget the identity. Okay, now, if that is cleared, that is for the power of negative 1. Okay, let us do that of negative 2. So I raised to power minus 2. How do we do that? That is very simple as well. Recall, you can say it is the same thing as I squared, or let me say I raised power minus 1, everything raised power 2. And don't forget, with what I've obtained here, I raised power minus 1 is what? Minus I everything square. And minus I everything square is minus I times minus I. So that's going to give you what? So, sorry, I have I raised power minus 1 here. So minus I multiplied by minus I is going to give me, or let me say, in order not to stress ourselves, sorry, so let's say I have, let me just clean this. So if I have I raised by minus 2, so then I can simply say it is the same thing as I squared. Yeah, I think I clean it. Minus 2. So minus 2. Yeah, that's the big mistake. I think I've cleaned. Yeah, apology. Okay, so this is what we obtain here. We have that my minus I is equal to I raised by minus 1. Okay, let us proceed with negative 2. So then the same thing as I squared everything raised by minus 1. You understand now? And don't forget your I square is what? Minus 1 with what I've obtained above. So that's going to give you minus 1 everything raised by minus 1. So which is going to give me minus 1. Okay, what of negative 3? That is not difficult as well. For negative 3, since I obtain my I raised by minus 2, then I can say the same thing as I raised by minus 2, I raised by minus 1. Since by the virtue of laws of indices, you are going to have I raised by minus 3 back, because this is going to give me minus 2 minus 1, which is minus 3. And from here, I have that my I raised by minus 2 to be minus 1, then multiply by I raised by minus 1. You understand now? Then I'm going to have minus 1 multiplied by, don't forget, what is your I raised by minus 1? That's minus I. And this is going to give me I. You understand that? It means your I raised by minus 3 is equal to I. It is not difficult. We'll be using this in the subsequent videos. Okay, what of I raised by minus 4? You are also thinking of it the same thing as I raised by minus 2, everything raised by minus 2, isn't it? Yeah. And don't forget, my I raised by minus 2 is what? My I raised by minus 2, like we've obtained here, it is minus 1, everything raised by 2. That's going to give me what? 1 again. Or another way you can do this is that you can rewrite this as I raised by 2, everything raised by minus 2. And don't forget, your I raised by 2 is what? Your I raised by 2 is minus 1, right? Everything squared. That's going to give you 1 divided by minus 1 squared, which is equal to 1. It's going to give you the same answer. In essence, so when you have your index to be negative 4, then I'm going to have 1 as the answer. Okay, now in general, can you do this? This is not difficult. And I can simply say this is the same thing as I raised power minus 4, everything raised power 8. And that will give me 1, because my I raised power 4 here, we obtained it to be 1, everything raised power 8, which is equal to 1. You can see this is very simple to do. So that's how you can find, the power of a complex number. If you understand this, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.